Hello, my boon companions. It's me, Nikki, and today I'm here with the books that I read in February. I know there are 3 days left in February, but I will not be able to finish any more books for the month. And all the books I'm about to talk about are none of the books I planned on reading back in January. That's just life, I guess. The first book I read was, oh god, it's heavy, A Madeline Treasury by Ludwig Bemelens. Ooh, I butchered that. I apologize. And I read it, I mean, it's a short read, but I read it over a couple days to savor it because I love Madeline. I love the whole thing of it with the dog and the appendix and Pepito and everybody, and I just love it. It's so good. It's just the best. I'm very happy I have it. I think it's all of them, all the works, and I'm just ecstatic. I love Madeline so much. Yay, I'm happy. Let me find a place to put that. Over there. The next book I read, oh god, is also very heavy. I also got it for, oh no, did I get it for my birthday? Or for Christmas? I can't remember. But it's the Final Fantasy Ultimania Archive, Volume 1. And it has the games 1 through 6. Let's turn it on the side. Ooh, fuck. As you see here, they're color-coded. So, like, this is 6 and 1 is all the way there. So when you're reading it, it's basically like artwork and maps and storyboards and things like that, and it just gets progressively bigger because the first two games, or the first game anyway, the characters didn't have names. They're just warriors of light. Look at this art, though. Look at this art. It's fantastic. And then, you know, the second game? Did they have names? Yeah, they did. But the connections weren't big. And then, I think the third game, they didn't even have names until, like, the Game Boy Advanced remake or something. But then by the time you get to 6 or even 5, there's just a ton of characters, a ton of playable characters. In 6 there's 14 characters, and I was like, oh my god. And then I was thinking, well, why is like 7, 8, and 9 its own book? And then I realized because 7, 8, and 9 are fucking huge and some of the most popular video games, and there's a ton of characters and connections. So yeah, 7, 8, and 9 is the second volume, and I think it's 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 is the third volume, which is, I would have broken that up into even more, but I love Final Fantasy, so if you love Final Fantasy, check this out. I don't think I can throw that one. That's too heavy. The next book, I'm very happy with as well. Dinosaurology, Search for a Lost World. It's part of the Ology series that started with Dragonology, and I am surprised I didn't buy that one first. And it says it's suitable for ages 6 and up, and I am an up, and I love this book. It's like the form of a journal, and it's got like postcards and, you know, stuff like that, and it just tells you everything about dinosaurs, and yeah, well, not everything about dinosaurs, but it's basically this, it tells a story in a little book, and I think that's fun. It's about a group of people. I think this is set during 1907-ish, the 1900s-ish anyway, and they go looking for a lost world. There's a map somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. for dinosaurs, because they think dinosaurs still exist. Which they don't, which sucks, but they don't. Oh, here's the map. Right there. And then, you know, it opens up on either side, and yeah. And it's great, yeah. They're off on a little island off somewhere in South America, and there's dinosaurs, and you just see all the dinosaurs, and you're like, oh, I wish it was real. But it's not real, because if it was real, it would turn into Jurassic Park, and then we would all die. So, fun times. The next 2 books I actually got as giveaways from Goodreads. I never win book giveaways, and I've won 2 in a row, practically. I was so excited, so happy. Love it. The first one is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. It is a graphic novel, basically, about Freddie Riley, who is, it's a gay lesbian love story. So Freddie, the brunette, let's see if we can find a picture of her. She is dating Laura Dean, and as the title says, Laura Dean keeps breaking up with her, like 3 or 4 times at least, and Freddie's friends are like, why do you keep going back to Laura? And they have their own stuff going on, and Freddie just can't see it because of Laura. And there's like pictures in here. Well, obviously it's all pictures, but it's like she won't even talk to her best friend anymore. And like there's this one right here. Those are her friends, and then that's Laura and Freddie, and it's like they're just passing each other by because she's so caught up with Laura, she can't focus on anything else, even though Laura is obviously bad for her, and she knows it, but she can't stop. And she meets new friends, and stuff happens. But it is amazing. I loved it. The cover, though, right? And it feels like the texture of the book is great as well. So that's always good when you have a good book and then the outside is as great as the inside. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the story is great. And I mean, like, because it's a graphic novel, and they just say a lot through pictures that even the words don't describe. So it's really great. I recommend you read it. All the characters are great, and at points you're like, oh, I know why Freddie loves Laura, and then at other points you're like, Freddie, why the fuck are you with Laura? What are you doing? But it all gets worked out in the end, so pick it up. It's great. And finally, I have, this one's really exciting. Not only is it a giveaway, it's an ARC, an advanced reader copy, if you don't know what that is. I didn't for a long time. So the book hasn't come out yet. They gave me paper on like, that's like a receipt. But this is like, where to tag them after the review. So that's what I shall be doing. And the book is The Girl and the Stars by Mark Lawrence. I've never read a book by Mark Lawrence, but I'm going to read more. And this is set in the same world as his book Red Sister, which is part of the Book of the Ancestor trilogy. But I don't think you need to read any of them. Like, I didn't read any of them, and I still thoroughly enjoyed this. But probably going back maybe to read the Book of the Ancestor trilogies or his other trilogies might explain a little bit more about the world. But first of all, let's talk about this cover. Is that not a gorgeous cover? And that is your main character. Her name is Yaz. It's basically everybody lives in the ice. There's like no really warmth. It's all cold, all ice, all frozen. And Yaz's people, I think they're like the tribe that lives farthest north. And every couple of years, all of these tribes gather together at a pit of the missing. That's what they call it. And it's all right here on the back. So, like, no spoilers. And Yaz knows, and this is just like in that first chapter as well, she knows she's gonna get thrown in the pit because she knows she's different. The pit is for people who are different. Basically, people who can't make it on the ice. Which sucks, but if that's where you live, that's kind of what you gotta do. And if, you know, she knows she's going in there, and she does. And then shit happens. It basically, it's like a week or a couple of days. She's not down in this pit long. And she finds out that, you know, everything isn't, the Abbess is the world, I believe, and it's just really different than what she thought. And there is magic in here, there is romance in here. It's like this weird, I wasn't a huge fan of the romance, but then I'm not a huge fan of romance in general. So that, you know, if you like romance, it's not like overt romance because there's stuff happening. There's shit happening that is more important than the romance. But there's like 3 guys that all love her, sort of, kind of, in various ways. And because she's probably like 16. I'd say 16 at the oldest. So of course, teenage, and she thought she was gonna marry this kid, and you know, because they marry young, and it just doesn't work out for her. And yeah, but it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. It's in the first couple chapters. When you get thrown in the pit, you don't die. There's like a whole society down there. And, they live, I wouldn't say, probably about just as hard a life, maybe harder, because of stuff that is down there than what happens on the ice. And Yaz is determined to make things better and get out. And there's a lot of stuff happening. Like I said, maybe if I knew the story of the Book of the Ancestor trilogy, a lot of that would make more sense. And it's called the Pit of the Missing because that is like the people who came before and now they're not there, so they're missing, and the pit is like leads down to where they used to be. I'm not sure how that works because I don't know about geology and evolution, but it's like a pit that wasn't a pit at some point in time and now it is a pit and you get thrown down there, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's really good. It's really good. The ending, that ending though, the sequel doesn't come out till 2021 and it is already on my must buy for 2021 because I need to know what happens. But in the meantime, I will be picking up the rest of his books. I'll probably start with Book of the Ancestor. Oh, but yeah, it was so good. I don't want to spoil it. because there are a lot of twists and turns, and I had to read things a couple times because, and it's probably because I don't know the world. It's because I don't know the world. Didn't quite understand what was happening, but once I read it again, it clicked with me. So that's just a me thing. It's not like a reader problem, I would say. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It made me want to read the rest of his books. It made me want to buy the next book. I have to know what happens. I have to know what happens because that ending, it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that, Mark Lawrence? I'm so like, oh, I gotta know what happens. I gotta know what happens. And 2021, that's like next year. What the? Okay. Anyway, it is romance, a little bit. Teenage romance. There's no kissing or sex or anything. But it's Yaz being like, oh, he's gorgeous. And the guy's going, oh, she's gorgeous. It's mostly kids doing the dirty work, as it were. There are adults in this, but they are in the background, or they're bad. There is a very old man in this. He's the guy that pushes her down in there. Or he pushes them, the people that go in the pit. He's the one that decides whether they go in the pit or not. And so he's an asshole, and a lot of the adults are just like, I don't know, like resistant to change almost, and Yaz is not, because she wants out, basically. So it's a fantasy book, obviously. What else? Maybe a little bit sci-fi, I would say, from the things I've read. So it's like a fantasy, sci-fi, magic. There's some like old technology. Yeah. It's really great. I liked all the characters. Well, except for the bad ones, because I got my ears pierced and I keep hitting them and it hurts. But I liked Yaz. And she gets OP very quickly, but there is a reason for it, so I can let that go. Because sometimes, in a lot of the books, the main character, male or female, they find out they're special or whatever, something happens, and then they're very powerful, and there's a reason for it. It'll all make sense. What else? Yeah, I just, it was a great book. It was a great read. I went through it pretty quickly, I think, because I couldn't stop reading. And I would definitely recommend you checking it out if this is your thing. It comes out April 21st. January, February, March, April. Yeah. Gotta double check. Yeah, and I hope you can get this cover. It might not be the hardback. This might be the paperback. I mean, this is the paperback version, but hardback almost always comes out first. But this cover is amazing. This is what made me enter in the giveaway, because look at it. It just looks so good, and there's so much detail that I didn't even notice until I'm holding it up to the camera. You can see like these old buildings in the background, and that's Yaz, and she's got blue eyes, and it's an amazing cover. It's an amazing book. I definitely would say check it out if that is your thing. And that is my thing. And I have to wait a year or more to get the sequel. So, that's mean. That's mean. Anyway, that's my review. It's not like a coherent review. Sorry. I'm working on it. Hopefully I'll win more giveaways, and maybe some of them will be arcs, and I'll just get better and better at this. But thank you very much to Penguin Random House and Berkeley Publications for choosing me, even if it was at random, and sending me the book. And thank you, Mark Lawrence, for writing it. It's amazing. I'm definitely checking out the rest of his stuff. And that is it for February. I will be back with another video, I guess, showing you what I'm going to read in March. But I think we all know what I'm going to read in March. But we'll do a video anyway. We'll do a video anyway. Gotta have videos for March, right? It's the best month. It's not. November's the best month. Anyway, have a good day or night, wherever you are. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.